This is, as I said, the biggest US military buildup in the Middle East since the Iraq War 2003. It includes several aircraft carriers, F-16, F-22, F-35 jets, and crucially, 2/3 of the US's E-3 command and control aircraft have been deployed to Europe and the Middle East. One military analyst says there's no PR value in deploying those critical aircraft. You wouldn't do so unless it was absolutely necessary. On that basis, is your view, just that alone, that this is inevitable, that, this is the whole deal, the so-called negotiations, which I know you've called out, are just kind of, they turn up the Iranian delegation, the US tell them to capitulate, that's the negotiation. Is that just a dead cert that this is potentially within days?
I mean, obviously, it's looking terrible and increasingly likely. I would not say that it is inevitable, though. And I say that partly because Trump is extremely unpredictable. I mean, remember, at one point in 2018, I believe he had ordered the bombing of Iran because the Iranians shot down an American drone. The jets had already left the aircraft carrier, and then he called them back. So nothing, I think, with him in particular is inevitable. So there's still a chance to stop this madness. And in fact, part of the reason why it still can be stopped is information flow to the president, based on folks I'm talking to here in Washington, seems to be limited. He has really been left under the impression by the Israelis and others, but mainly the Israelis, that the Iranians are just so weak, all you need to do is threaten them enough, bomb a little bit, and they're going to cave or collapse. And I don't think that is the case. The Iranians certainly are weaker than they were before, but they're not as weak as he thinks they are. So there is still an opportunity to be able to correct some things. In fact, the greatest opportunity is one that the Iranians have had, but they refused to employ, which is that they should actually directly talk to Trump himself. Trump is having Netanyahu in his ears all the time. But it is the Iranians' fault that they're also not in his ears, and that all of that space is essentially held up by Netanyahu or by his allies. I do believe that a direct conversation between Trump and the Iranians would be the most effective de-escalatory mechanism. Now, whether it would automatically resolve the issue, obviously, is a different story, or even if it could lead to a resolution, it's a different story. But it is one of the most important cards that have not been played.